Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talking Insights. I'm your host, Antonio. And today I'm joined by Ester Marchetti, the Chief Innovation Officer at Bolt Insights, a company that's helping reshape the future of qualitative research through AI, continuous consumer understanding, and an always-on insights ecosystem. Now, Esther has been at the forefront of conversations around AI moderation, longitudinal insights, and how technology is shaping not just the speed of research, but the way that brands can connect with people. Today, we're going to explore how AI is transforming the insights industry, what should remain deeply human in research, where the future of consumer understanding is headed, and a sneak peek of a masterclass that Esther is hosting in the SMR APAC conference. So stay tuned and take it away, Esther. Esther, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talking Insights. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you might be busy preparing for the trip and preparing to be presenting on stage at the SMR APAC next in just a few days. How are you feeling?
Yeah, lovely to meet you, Antonio. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited. To be fair, I used to live in Japan actually before moving to the UK, and I haven't managed to be back in 15 years since I moved because life takes over. So for me, is also going back to a part of the world that's very, very close to my heart, and I'm looking forward also to reconnecting with some of my colleagues from back then. And what better way than an ASMR conference?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And now you're with Bolt Insights, right? Can you explain me a bit what the company does? What's the whole vision? What do you do there? Can you explain me a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I'm one of the co-founders at Bolt. I look after innovation and client over there, based in the UK. And it's a company that we created quite a few years back. It started in 2018. My co-founder and CEO of the company, Hakan, was an ex-colleague. We used to work together at Unilever. I was in insight, he was in marketing. And basically, we had a hunch, we had an instinct. We saw that the CPG industry was sitting on all this amount of consumer data, sometimes really not focusing on the connection with the consumers, but focusing more on a project, on the immediate thing as an end, because the infrastructure to make that data, that consumer connection continuous, connective and actionable wasn't really there. And so we first focused on empathy. We wanted to bring the consumer connection to our clients, combining quant and qual capabilities to reach out to respondents and have conversation with them, leading with consumer centricity. And then now as our next stage, building a living consumer empathy engine to give our clients almost like this repository that doesn't just answer the question you thought to ask, but surfaces what you didn't know what to look for. We work with many clients across all industry, not only CPG now, technology, retail, consultancies. We work also and partner with many other agencies and really trying to bring the solution that we wish we had when we were clients. So having had a good run and fun since the start.
And that's what matters. If you're not having fun, why do it?
Indeed.
You were mentioning these projects, like these more kind of ad hoc. And when I was also like looking up for like the company and you and doing some research on this, you were mentioning a bit of like these projects and how like there's a shift between like not working as much as in the project base, but now into a more like, I want to say like a always on kind of environment for the insights. What's driving that shift? And how do you feel like the companies and the insights teams are going to be different in just a few years?
Yeah, maybe I can first talk about the situation that made us think about this differently. So there were conversations we kept having with our clients going something like this. They commission a study. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to get the results back. They get a beautifully crafted report, but by the time it lands, the consumer needs and the context has already shifted. And it's not just the AI revolution. Things are getting faster and faster. I'm sure you experience it as well. A trend must have already peaked. The competitor has moved. The cultural moment has evolved. And so even if the insights were accurate and were gathered with robustness at the core, the client might find themselves already slightly behind the conversation. And so there is really a gap between when research is done and when understanding is needed. That's what driving what I think is the structural shift in our industry right now. And so that's why we're moving really from ad hoc project model where the insight is commissioning response to something that the client sees at that time towards something more like a continuous intelligent ecosystem where the understanding is always on. So it's really something that responds to the speed that the market is experiencing, and also with the advent of social commerce and other venues in which there is a more organic stimulus to which clients needs to respond from every direction that we're seeing this happening.
That's
and
very
so, yeah, it's really not just about speed, but it's also what kind of question is possible to ask, where to find the response, and so on.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think nowadays we think about speed and like everything, but sometimes we need to also think about efficiency and how we're doing it. Is this the best way to do it? And especially because nowadays everyone talks about AI and how it's gonna make everything so faster. And it's it's so big and so bright, I don't know, and fast. Do you think that AI is actually making the research better rather than just more efficient, or just faster and not efficient? How do you see it?
Yeah, it's a great question, Antonio. I always believed, with our company, we've always been at the forefront of the AI transformation. We were the first platform driving AI qualitative conversations at scale. And so I've really seen the trends from trying to understand what it is we're trying to do to the trust that then you need to drive, and understanding of how certain insights are generated. Because if we just put an AI stamp to it, there is no value. It's really about how you ask the question, which kind of understanding and design you put behind the answers. And we've always told it's not about the tool, it's really about the use cases. How can it help you in a specific moment? And what we have noticed in our journey is that AI can really help as an integrative and complementary tool to other research methodologies. For example, when it comes to scaling up consumer connection that are both deep and robust. For example, in understanding objectively at scale what's important for people, and also for better understanding of sensitive topics. So we've done a lot of research, for example, in mental health, healthcare, life stage, GLP, all of those topics that is very difficult for people not only to articulate the level of struggles that they experience, but also to feel like they don't have to perform in front of the moderator.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to a human moderator, even if they are so skilled, there is always a relationship dynamic. You're aware you're being observed, evaluated, judged. With AI, we find that that layer goes away. It's not just about honesty, but the texture, the way in which they share their journey and their struggles. Also with some contradiction, they might say, oh, I do care about sustainability. And then they tell you, oh, I buy whatever is cheapest. So without trying to smooth it out, you can then use AI to understand what are the contradictions, and understanding afterwards what could explain that ambiguity. So yeah, we definitely saw ways in which it can be a great complement to methods, especially in those spaces.
Is there like still some parts that should, or at least now there's a human part to research? You think there's some parts that are going to continue to be just humans, and that AI or the machines can never replace them in this sense?
Oh, absolutely. I think especially in the part that is about meaning and judgment and critical thinking. So, not just the pattern recognition. AI is great to analyze thousands of conversations at scale and not just remember that anecdote that's stuck into your mind, because as human, we tend to engage with stories, but really understand objectively what is out there that is a true pattern.
Okay.
And it can tell, a cluster of consumers use emotionally charged language when discussing a product, but it might not tell you why it matters. What does it say about the cultural context, about their moment, about what a brand should do with the knowledge? We have conducted also a lot of interviews among insight professionals to understand how did they see the role of the human changes. And they were saying exactly this. How can we bring the human significance, the judgment, the critical thinking that allows them to interpret what AI say with our experience and understanding what should brands do about it? And then I would say, that relationship with the clients will always be there, because at the end of the day, one key skills that I think will still be there for the human is the storytelling element. How can you have people being moved and feel the insights rather than just understand them? And so I think that's still very much of a human role that we need to keep playing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's not always about the numbers, but also about like the whole story, the whole human part that connects all of us. Now, looking at the Bolt's journey to the company journey, was there a moment that made you think that AI and all these new technologies aren't just a tool, just a random tool for the industry, but that there's something more going on? Was there like a moment that you're like, there's something here?
Many moments. We've seen a lot. I'm sure you did too. I would say maybe rather than just the capability leap, which of course was massive, but it was related to what I was saying before about how people are engaging with AI in insights. So, for example, we have been showcasing, bringing to life the insight by AI personas, dynamic personas that can learn from all of the projects that you run in a compounded way and helping bringing those insights to life in a way that is interactive. So you will chat with this AI person and you could watch a video of an AI avatar talking through their struggles and bringing it to life. And it was once I saw a client sitting with a persona that had been built from real consumer conversation and seeing them moved about what they heard, seeing them stop thinking about the target audience as an abstraction and start talking about her as a person, her contradiction, her trade-off, her actual life. And so finally stopping to talk about a segment and talking about a human, because at the end of the day, we are in the business of humans. We're trying to understand how people feel. And I think that has been really a big change that I've seen. So much brand strategies built on abstractions. The average consumer, 18 to 45, should probably behave like that. But the truth is that nobody's an average. And when AI can help synthesizing the complexity of a real person and playing it back in a way that is understandable by strategists in a way that moves them. I thought it's not just efficient, it's really a different way, a better way to understand people at the end.
As we said in the beginning, you're going to be in the next few days in Tokyo for the SMR APAC conference. And there's going to be like a masterclass that you're going to be hosting. What are some of the key takeaways that people can expect from that masterclass?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, and if you're in Tokyo, please do join.
There's still places available. I'm sure you can register on the website. Yeah, all the informations are there.
Yeah, what we wanted to showcase is a bit what we have seen as professional having navigated the transformation in the industry as the key trajectory where everybody's going. Because I feel like there is so much going on. New news every day from all sorts of market research providers, but also, thought leaders in the industry about what's changing and what should we do about it. So I just wanted to share what we've seen as the transformation, how we believe it will change, how brands need to connect with consumers, how AI can help in that human connection, how the role of the researcher might be changing. And also, how can we, as insight professionals, stop just being a department, but start being strategists that are leveraging the organization and being really underpinning every business decision rather than being called on an ad hoc basis just when a question arises. So I'm going to also talk about the next era of insights in which people need to really develop their storytelling and critical thinking muscle, because they will be the go-to people to better understand who to engage with. And so, yeah, hopefully it's going to be also a bit philosophical in the way that we're going to move from the archaeologist of the past that just dig into the data that is there to the orchestrator of the future and understand which systems needs to be put in place so that the business can make better decisions.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very interesting one. And I hope everyone can join. Again, the links where you can find all the information are in the description of the episodes. Esther, thank you so much for your time. I won't take any more time from my day. I think it was great. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Antonio. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody soon in Tokyo.
And that's all for today, folks. Talking Insights is a production of Research World and SMR, bringing you the stories, voices, and ideas shaping the insights community around the world. If you'd like to be featured in a future episode, share your story, or learn more about sponsoring opportunities, send us an email at podcast@smr.org. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And join us next week for another great conversation. See you.